Welcome to PWS United, a podcast for the Prader-Willi syndrome community, brought to you by PWSA USA. This podcast gives the latest news in research, advocacy, and family support by bringing together staff, volunteers, PWS treatment specialists, biotech and pharmaceutical representatives, caregivers, family members, and individuals with PWS. Our goal is to share education, awareness, and resources with those living with PWS and their supporters. Join us in our mission to enhance the quality of life and empower those affected by Prader-Willi syndrome.
We are back with another episode of PWS United, and we now have Carrie back. Yay! Hi.
Yay.
Welcome back.
Thank you. The nice welcome back. I appreciate that. And I just told Annie offline that I'm definitely feeling rusty at this guy. So just bear with me through this. Yeah, fair warning.
Yeah. Well, so maybe you can share with people before we get started, because you had a wonderful grand adventure in Italy and Croatia. So maybe if you want to tell us like one of your favorite memories, because you did promise that you would share some stuff. So maybe we'll dole them out as we go.
Yes. Fair. Yeah, I'm happy to do that. I could honestly probably talk about this trip for an entire 45-minute long episode. But yeah, I'll keep it to one memory for now. I'm also actually working on a blog article just like about what we did and how we navigated the 2 weeks, because the group of friends that we went with, there were 6 of us total, planned this from start to finish alone without, help from a travel company or anything. So yeah, I think maybe it could help others if they're planning trips. If you want to read it, we can link it in a random future episode one day. But I think I'll just say that the country of Croatia is just so stunning. And we didn't really have any expectations because we didn't know a whole lot about it. We definitely did some research. We knew places we wanted to go, some activities we wanted to do. But I think just the entirety of the experience of being in Croatia for the second week we were on the trip was just all magical. And we all every day looked at each other like, this is somewhere everybody should come. Like, this is the most beautiful place. So I think that just the entire week of Croatia was the best memory, honestly, for me. And my new PSA in life is to tell people if they can go, if they have the means to do so, if they can put it in their future travel plans one day, to go to that beautiful country, because there's so much to see, so much beautiful culture and beautiful people and nice people and amazing food. And oh my gosh, just everything was like ticked every box of enjoyment for us. So yeah, that's what I'll start with here.
I love it.
And then we can talk about more in the future. But
yeah. Well, Croatia is definitely on my list now, for sure.
Yes, it should be. You can get there. I highly recommend.
All right. Well, I look forward to hearing more stories about it and reading that blog. So thanks for giving us
Eventually, it'll be ready.
Eventually. No pressure. No pressure. I know you're still recovering, because then you had the gala, which we'll get into. And actually, if you want to, we can go ahead and get into that. I'll just say first that this is Pulse episode volume 132 from October 3rd, 2025. So just last Friday. And yeah, it starts with a recap of the gala. So if you want to go ahead and tell us about that, how was it?
Yes, I'm so happy to. It was a wonderful event. Really a perfect way, I think, to celebrate PWSA's 50th anniversary. Being at the Ritz-Carlton, I think it was the most elegant and perfect venue for this. It just exuded this classy, like historic moment in time for the organization. And there were about 200 people that were able to make it to St. Louis September 26th for the event. And there were people that had been early members of the organization to brand new families who had never been to a PWSA event before. So it was really a spectrum of the people that were there as well, and all coming together again to celebrate such a momentous occasion was so beautiful to see and be a part of. And I just really want to make sure that Angela gets a huge hats off and shout out here, because she crushed it. She did so much work for this event. And if you know Angela and you know she's planning a party of any kind, you know it's going to be amazing. So that was already in everybody's mind, but she really blew it out of the water. So go, Angela.
Nice.
But yeah, I did write a full recap about the night, what we did, who was there, who we highlighted and honored. And yeah, I really encourage everyone to read it. If you were not able to make it, you can, I think, relive it a little bit or experience it for yourself a little bit in that way, hopefully. So we'll have that linked in our show notes. And we also shared our 50th anniversary tribute video that premiered at the gala.
Love that
And that's
video.
now, yeah, it's so good. But that's now available for viewing on our YouTube page. And we'll also have a link for that. And I, again, highly encourage everyone to go watch it if you haven't done so already. It's really moving. And then we also have a Journey of Hope Gala photo gallery that you can go and look through pictures as well that I was able to take. And Christy helped. Shout out to Christy too. Thank you, Christy, for helping with pictures. So a lot of great follow-up information and resources from this great event that you can go. Again, check out all of those links in our show notes. And actually, a little plug here. In the 50th Gala recap blog article, there's also a link to share your own photos from the gala, kind of a community photo folder. If you were there and have pictures on your cell phone or your own camera, if you brought one, please share them there. We want as many pictures as possible so that future events we can look back and build slideshows and videos and all of that for future events. And we can include all the great moments from the 50th as well. So one final huge shout out to all of our amazing gala sponsors, our legacy sponsors, Soleno Therapeutics and the Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino, and our pioneer sponsors, Five Brothers Produce and Acadia, and all of our other wonderful sponsors. Just thank you so much for your support. We could not have done this event without you. And we missed you, Annie, but Annie was there in the form of a photo on a stick.
Those were so fun.
It was hysterical. And she was in more pictures than I was, which is really funny to look back on and realize. Like,
Yeah.
Annie was literally like more present.
And I was actually technically in the
so good.
Redwoods on a backpacking trip, teaching kids how to make fire with flint. So that was really fun.
Oh,
Which is,
amazing.
to be honest, more my speed than a fancy gala.
Fancy gala. Well, you were still there in spirit.
I'm glad I was
amongst them.
there on a stick. Yeah. There in
Amazing.
spirit.
All right. So yeah, go and check those out. And thank you to everybody who came and just made it such a great event. We appreciate everyone's support. So our PWSA memory for the week is a really awesome one, Annie. I was looking through these and laughing a little bit as I, saw this gathered view. But parents at a 1987 PWS conference in Texas were given the partial sentence PW or Prader-Willi is, and parents who submitted responses seemed to veer toward a lighter and more humorous tone and added suggestions like PW is finding teeth marks in the artificial fruit. PW is listening to the same story over
Ugh.
and over and over again. And PW is having the cleanest chicken bones in town. And this was in 1987, and I feel like people would probably still respond with
Yeah.
similar issues today, right?
Yeah. I mean, the finding teeth marks, I don't relate to that one, but of course, the same story or the same topic over and over and over again. And then the cleanest chicken bones. I mean, Freya can clean a chicken bone like no other.
You can relate to that one.
But so can my husband's mom. So maybe it's a family thing.
That might be more of a family thing. Oh, that's so funny. Oh, amazing. There are more responses than just these three. And if you want to, go through and have a little giggle and relate a little bit more to those who attended the conference in 1987, you can do so at the link in our show notes. It's the Gathered View.
Volume 13, number 4.
Okay.
I will say that I made a social media post, so on Facebook and Instagram for this memory, and you can get in there and find it. But I asked people to submit their own, to just put them in the comments. One says, PWS is having a kind heart and patience for a syndrome that one cannot control at times. So that's a very sweet one.
Yeah. But if you have one of your own and want to go comment, you can do so on Facebook. And again, you can read Others submitted back in 1987 at the Gather V link in our show notes. So go check it out. And our Spotlight on Hope for the week is submitted by amazing, wonderful Emily Felt, who is mom to Ollie, who's 13, living with PWS. And Emily shared that she shared a photo, I guess, first of all. And we have that in the Pulse and on our social media, actually, if you want to go back to our Saturday post and check it out. But Ollie, her daughter, is pictured with her two new friends, a pair of sisters, ages 13 and 10, one of whom is in Ollie's grade at school. After really hitting it off with the sisters, Ollie has been enjoying attending their softball team games on the weekends. Although Ollie has at times struggled to make friends at school, it turns out that when the connection is there, it comes quite naturally. These girls are quote unquote besties. I love it. Who take care of each other inside and outside of school. That's lovely. So happy for Ollie. It's very sweet.
Yeah. And I will say that I had to reach out to Emily to get this because people are not submitting spotlights on hope. And so
Come
if
on,
you are
people.
listening to this podcast, go to the show notes and you'll find a link to submit your own spotlight. It does not have to be a big, crazy, momentous event. Like people love these posts. We just love to hear about your loved one and see pictures and just send us a picture of them smiling and say this is who they are and this is what they like. Doesn't have to be anything grand, but we just really we could use some more submissions so that I don't have to accost my friends on Thursdays. Make them submit.
But thanks for doing that, Annie. And to Emily for being willing.
Yes, thank you, Emily. Okay, so for our events, now that Gala's passed, for this week's pulse, we wanted to mention the second annual Dance Silly for Prada Willie. And this is coming up Saturday, October 11th at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time. It is in Warren, Ohio at the Trumbull Career and Technical Center. And this is put on by the Hampton family. And this is the second annual Dance Silly for Prada Willie event, a lively celebration to support PWSA USA. And Carrie, this is something that you get to attend. You attended last year and you're going this year.
Yes, I'm so excited. It was amazing last year. So, and I know Michelle is going to do bigger and just go even more all out this year. So I can't wait to see how it's grown and hopefully even more families in attendance. But yeah, I think it's just a really special celebration, especially around, the Halloween time, which can be tricky to navigate. So Michelle really wanted to have an event to make sure people felt safe and still enjoyed every aspect of Halloween and still got to dress up and have fun, but just in a safe PWS friendly environment. So shout out to her for having that idea and
Mm-hmm.
creating that space for families in the area. And yeah, I'm just really, really glad that she's putting it on again and hopefully will, for the foreseeable future for years to come. And it just keeps growing and more families attend. But I will be there and I will do a Facebook live stream on Saturday, October 11th, probably around like 4:30, just while like things are a little more lively. And so, yeah, go check it out on our Facebook. And then I'll take some pictures and try to interview some families too, so we can share some of the fun after as well. But yeah, if you see me there, please come say hi. And also, if you want to be on the podcast, I'll have my microphone.
Oh, perfect. There you go.
Anyway,
Sounds fun. So I wanted to put the call out that we are looking for podcast guests for a November episode. So November is National Family Caregivers Month. And of course, as parents and caregivers ourselves, we recognize and value the incredible dedication, work, and support that family caregivers provide. And in November, we, of course, will honor all family caregivers, but this year we wanted to emphasize single caregivers. As part of our work for the PWS community, we are hoping to bring together some single caregivers for a heartfelt and insightful podcast episode. So the intention of this episode is to create a safe space for caregivers to share their experiences. So, to help people feel less alone, to have those shared experiences, and to maybe find some advice or some tools that maybe they can learn about from each other. You can learn about from listening. But also, I think it's really important for us to better understand the experiences of single caregivers. And this can give us some insight into how our community and our organization can offer more support in that area. So there's a few ways that we are approaching this, or definitely some benefits to get from this. So we're hoping that some people are willing to share their experiences. So if that is you, please email me africke@pwsausa.org, and that's AFRICKE. If you can't remember that, you can always email communications@pwsausa.org, and just let us know that you are interested in being on the podcast to talk about this. All right. So we have two quick things for advocacy. We are continuing with our initiative, our state-by-state initiative for VICAT XR to get that available to families in their specific states. These are the drug utilization review boards, the pharmacy and therapeutics committees. I guess it's called different things in different states. And we do have an article, like a general article about this whole thing and what it is and why families should be involved, or why we're hoping families are involved, and how it's going to help get VICAT XR into the homes of PWS families. So I will link to that article in the show notes. But the two that we have coming up, we have one for Missouri PWS families, and that meeting is Wednesday, October 8th from 10:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. Central Time. So when you're listening to this, if you're listening to it when it comes out, it's still probably too late to submit written testimony, but you can at least show up at the meeting. There will be a link to tell you more about that and a link to the Zoom in our show notes. We also have a call for Indiana PWS families, and this is for the DUR board meeting on October 17th. And they are looking for written testimony and perhaps also public testimony during the meeting. So the meeting, again, is October 17th, but usually the written testimony needs to be sent in before that. So just find the link in the show notes, and the article will tell you a lot more about what you need to do. And there's also, Dorothea has included writing tips on how to write a good written testimony, what that's supposed to look like. So she's made it very easy for families to do this. So again, we'll be continuing to roll these out over however, months, for the next year, however long it takes. But these are all really important to getting VICAT available to families. So check those out.
So moving on to our family support section now, we start with a really amazing blog that Annie put together, and it's on the subject of National Bullying Prevention Month, which is October, falls in October. And one of the frustrating and sad realities of our society is that individuals with disabilities and special needs are more likely to be bullied, including our loved ones with PWS. And it's essential that the parents and caregivers are aware of the potential for bullying, recognizing its signs, and understanding how to intervene to prevent and stop the behavior. So, this blog shares Annie's family's experience with Freya's struggles at school and how they navigated the challenging situation, along with some quick tips and resources for bullying prevention. And we'll have that link in the show notes. And I just want to take the opportunity to thank you, Annie, for being vulnerable in this space and kind of sharing that experience and giving other families an insight into, yes, this happens. Yes, we other people like me have experienced it, and this is how we handled it and coped, and maybe it can help others. So
Yeah.
thank you for doing that. I thought it was incredibly moving.
Yeah. Good. Well, thank you. Yeah. It felt good to write. I wanted to do it, I think, last year, but it was still kind of fresh. So it was
Mhm.
a lot easier to write about this
Yeah,
year. So
makes
So
sense.
yeah, I'm glad it was. I hope it's helpful. I mean, of course, I hope that none of our kids are being bullied or,
Mhm.
having toxic relationships with people, but that's the nature of life, I guess. Sometimes our loved ones are more susceptible to those. So yeah, hopefully it helps where it's needed.
Thank you. And our Asner's Lynn for the week was submitted on behalf of a female living with PWS who is 13 years old with a deletion subtype. So the question submitted was, my daughter started the estradiol patch about 4 months ago. She hasn't really gained much weight or gotten bigger, but she is getting stretch marks across her butt and upper thighs. Is this common with estrogen spikes, or does it have something to do with PWS? Is there anything she should or could be putting on them to lessen the severity? And you can read Nurse Lynn's response at the link in our show notes. And while you're there, you can also submit your own non emergency medical question about Prader-Willi syndrome for our wonderful Nurse Lynn.
So for research this week, we have the first one is the one pager from Trend. And these came from, so just to remind people, Trend community, they gathered data. They were getting it from Facebook groups. They can no longer do that. So now we're on Discord and we have a group on Discord. And we have conversations on Discord, and then they take the information de-identified. No one's name is attached to any of it. Just always want to clarify that. And then they put it together into these reports. And these reports can really help PWS research. It can help care providers and doctors and specialists. So really valuable work is going on over there. One thing that I had learned starting this was that the pitolisant trial that Freya is in came from this information that was gathered, like people talking about sleep issues and cataplexy and excessive daytime sleepiness and all of this in the Facebook groups, and that really red flag that there was a need. And so now, through various avenues, now we have the pitolisant trial. So this is really, really valuable work that
Yeah.
is going on. Families can have these conversations on Discord. So you're getting support, you're getting connection, and then also this information is being compiled in a way that is valuable to PWS research and to furthering treatments and interventions for our loved ones. We started this year a journey initiative. So it's like it's once every month we have a theme, and we put out 2 prompts a month. And so this came from January. So January, the theme was birth stories. And so from the responses of families writing in about their birth stories and to the prompts, they compiled the information into this one pager. We have a link to this in the show notes, and we'll also have an article that tells you more about Trend and how you can join Discord, because we would love to see more families over there and have some more conversations.
Yeah, it's always interesting, Annie, to see what the words are that they pull out.
Mm-hmm.
Because I assume looking at this, that the larger the font is, the
Yep.
more prevalent it was in the conversation.
Yep.
And yeah, it's just incredible to see what comes from that in kind of the research aspect of things, from the research lens, I guess I would say. So you really get to know PWS on a different level, or look at it and see it with a different lens because it has that research focus. But it really is just parents telling their stories. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's such a cool concept, and Trend is doing amazing work with it. So
Yeah, there's these great graphs, and then like what Carrie's referring to is this like word cloud that they always include, and they pull out phrases that are repeated, and yeah, like the bigger phrases are repeated.
yeah,
That's what families are talking about, and so you really get an idea of PWS.
mm, amazing.
So we also are sad to say that the Acadia Pharmaceuticals Compass PWS carbetocin trial for PWS did not meet its primary goal in reducing hyperphagia. So the clinical trial is over. And here's something that Acadia wrote. They said, "We are deeply disappointed by the results of this clinical trial, knowing the incredible need for treatment options to address hyperphagia and Prader-Willi syndrome, and are profoundly grateful to the patients, families, and investigators who have participated in this clinical trial for their dedication and contributions to advancing scientific understanding." So we know that this is difficult for families. We know, there is a difference between how things can be measured scientifically for clinical trials to be able to continue and how things are measured anecdotally. And so we know that anecdotally, there were many families who found this trial to be a success. And so, yeah, we know it's challenging for families, and we just want you to know that if you need support, you can reach out to PWSA. The phone number is 941-312-0400, or you can reach out at info@pwsausa.org. Again, we are saddened for this news, but we also want to remind you all that this is not the end of PWS research. We have ViCat XR, an FDA-approved treatment, and there are other clinical trials in the works. So please do not despair. We will continue onward. So on that note, we're going to talk about Aardvark's HERO clinical trial. And there's a lot of information from Aardvark this week. So first things first, October 15th, at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, we are hosting with FPWR a clinical trial informational webinar. And this is to learn about the ARD 101 clinical trial of HERO. And this trial is a global phase 3 clinical trial investigating the drug ARD 101, an innovative orally administered treatment designed to help reduce hyperphagia and food-seeking behaviors in individuals with PWS. So there you go. So where one clinical trial may be ending, there's still others that are continuing. So hopefully this one will be more successful. And if you want to learn more about it, you can register for the webinar at the link in our show notes. And because this is a phase 3 trial, they've just opened the open label extension. And so this is for people who have done the trial, who have completed week 12 end of treatment. They will then have the option to join this trial. So if you are in the HERO trial and you want to continue, that option's available, and we will be updating the trial sites as they open. 2 more things for HERO. So they've just opened another for the phase 3. For the first part of the trial, the phase 3 clinical trial, they've just opened another site in Fort Worth, Texas at Cook Children's Medical Center. You can find the link in the show notes. And also now their website is in Spanish. So when you go to the website, if you want the Spanish, there's a little button at the top and it says English, Spanish. You click that. And then, I love the more and more resources are being provided. You'll find all the links for those in the show notes.
Lots going on with Aardvark. It's wonderful to see. And I love that they have an option of their website in Spanish. That is amazing and something we aspire to do.
Yes, someday.
in the future,
Someday. Just so you guys know, we have conversations, we're talking about it, we're working on it. So hopefully you're gonna start seeing more from us.
Yes.
At some point.
Agreed. So just to end here, we have one PWSA announcement to share. It's our resource spotlight of the week. We have an incredible resource to share for National Physical Therapy Month that falls in October. It is the Therapeutic Interventions for the Child with Prader-Willi Syndrome, and it's written by Janice Agarwal, who is a PT and a CNDT. This booklet explains what a pediatric physical therapist is and covers topics like early intervention, typical development through the years, sensory integration, the vestibular, proprioceptive, tactile, and oral motor systems, as well as calming techniques, sleeping strategies, and more. The booklet is really a great resource for every family in the PWS community, anywhere from birth to adulthood. So we highly recommend to read it, whether it's for the first time or to refresh. It's always a great tool to have in your back pocket. So thank you to Janice for writing this and for allowing us to continue to share it as an incredible resource with the PWS community. And I'm really proud of myself for getting through all of those hard words. And the only reason I can do it is because my sister's an occupational therapist, and I've heard her say those before.
I was very impressed.
Well, it's really great to be back with you, Annie.
It's
and
great to have you back.
Back on the podcast. I want to give a shout out to Elaine for jumping in the last couple weeks, few episodes. She crushed it. And I think that she could be gunning for my role. No, just kidding. But we do love it when other staff can come on and lend their voice. And she just does such a good job. So
yeah,
you're welcome anytime, Elaine.
All right. Well, yeah, we hope you all have a great week, and we'll be back next week with another episode. Tune in to find out what it is.
What it is. Oh, we have fun.
Thank you for listening to this episode of PWS United. If you want to learn more about Prader-Willi syndrome and how PWSA USA is making strides in advocacy, family support, and research, visit www.pwsausa.org. And while you're there, we encourage you to sign up for our Pulse email newsletter to stay informed about the latest news, resources, and events. Don't forget to subscribe to the PWS United podcast so you never miss an episode. Our team is always available to support families and their loved ones living with PWS 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. You can call us at 941-312-0400 or email info@pwsausa.org. Catch a new episode next Tuesday, and until then, have a great week.